There are a few simple things that you are doing wrong that are guaranteed to keep you struggling financially. So today I'll be covering 8 of the top money mistakes to quit right now. The first mistake is not paying yourself first. And paying yourself first is a really common saying that you'll hear in the personal finance community. And all that this really means is that when you get paid, the first step should be to route money to your savings account so that no matter what, you will have money saved up. This method helps to ensure that you do not end up spending money that you had originally intended to save. And I kind of do a variation of this in that my first step when I get paid is to actually tithe to my church first and then route money to my savings account. And that is because tithing has been a part of my faith walk for a couple of years now. And I have found that when I prioritize God in my life and in my finances, everything else falls into place. The next money mistake that will definitely keep you struggling is not having an emergency fund. An emergency fund is savings for unplanned future expenses. Emergency funds are really the bedrock of a solid financial foundation because you never know when you may lose your job, your home may suddenly need major repairs, or God forbid, you or someone you love has a major medical emergency. As foundational as emergency funds are, almost 60% of Americans are unable to cover a $1,000 emergency expense. So this means that they are likely turning to friends and family, credit cards, or predatory payday loans in order to cover the bill. So make sure that you never have to go through that because none of those are great options. Start off by saving 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in an emergency fund. And to figure out what exactly that number would be for you, I have a free emergency fund calculator that you can download by clicking the link in the description box below. The next thing that will keep you poor is a bad credit score. When it comes to credit cards or taking out loans, an important factor to keep an eye on is your credit score. Those who do not pay attention to their credit score will find it difficult to get to where they want to be financially. If you don't know your credit score, you can easily figure that out by visiting sites like Experian or Credit Karma to pull that information for free. And in general, a credit score below 600 is considered to be bad, and having a low credit score could mean that you would end up being denied for mortgages, personal loans, car loans, etc. And even if you do end up getting approved, you are more likely to be paying a higher interest rate. And if you're paying a higher interest rate, then obviously you are keeping less of your money overall. So make sure that you use your credit cards responsibly, that you pay your loans back on time in order to keep your credit score up. The next money mistake is not having a proper plan to pay off your debt. When it comes to paying off debt, one of the most important things to know is how much you owe. So write down how much you owe plus the interest rates, and then from there you can choose a method like the debt snowball or the debt avalanche method to figure out what debt to prioritize. And in a nutshell, the debt snowball method is where you prioritize paying off the debt with the smallest amount first, and then from there you move on to the next smallest amount, and then up from there until you have completely cleared all your debt. And this method really helps you to celebrate the small wins along the way that will keep you encouraged and pushing toward your goal of becoming debt-free. While the debt avalanche method prioritizes paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first. And this method will actually save you money overall. Whatever method you choose, just pick one and stick to it to see good results. The next thing that can keep you poor is missing out on your employer 401k match contributions. This is essentially free money that you are leaving on the table if you choose not to participate in the match. So to get the most out of it, make sure you contribute at least the minimum to your retirement account to receive that match. In doing this, you are actually benefiting yourself in 2 ways. Number 1, you are contributing to your financial future so that you have money saved up when you reach retirement. And number 2, you are actually helping yourself to pay less in taxes because contributions to employer-sponsored retirement accounts are made pre-tax and reduce your taxable income in the current year. And I know none of us loves paying taxes, so this is one of the most legitimate ways to reduce your tax burden. Speaking of taxes, the next thing that is keeping you poor is not putting your tax refund to good use. I want you to comment down below right now and tell me how you usually spend your tax return. I know it can be really tempting once you get that money to want to go out and spend it right away on things that you have been wanting to buy, but have you ever considered using your tax refund wisely can give you that little extra boost that you need to reach your financial goals. If you are familiar with the YouTuber and Instagram influencer Ellie Talks Money, she has an amazing story of how she used her COVID stimulus check to start her consulting business, which ended up earning her over $1 million in her first year. It's a really inspiring story, and I'll actually leave it linked in the description box below if you want to hear the entire story, which I highly recommend that you check out. But I know that a stimulus check is different from a tax return, but the same concept still applies. Maybe you could use your tax return to start a business and create a life-changing result. The next thing that can make money just slip right through your hands is co-signing loans for the wrong person. Now, there are circumstances where co-signing a loan for someone is totally good and totally necessary, but there are risks that come along with it. If the other person fails to pay the balance, then ultimately you are on the hook. Plus, that debt shows up on your credit report as if you were the one who borrowed the money. And depending on what your credit already looks like, that could make you look like more of a risk to lenders. And if the other person misses a payment, then that will negatively impact your credit score. So there are benefits to co-signing a loan, like helping someone to build up their credit, but just make sure you have a good understanding with that person and that you are 100% comfortable with accepting all of the risks and potential consequences that could come along with it. The next thing that will keep you poor is giving into lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is where you increase your spending as you increase your income. So as you have more money in your bank account, it can be more tempting to spend on things that you think you really want but maybe aren't super necessary, like buying name brand items just because you can. This basically ensures that you will never get ahead. So my best advice to combat lifestyle creep is to get on a budget. Having a plan for your money will help to ensure that you don't spend frivolously. And make sure you check out my video on my monthly budgeting process that I will leave linked up here that will help you figure out how to get started. Comment down below and let me know which one of these money mistakes you have struggled with the most, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more personal finance content.